From The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. The marks humans leave are too often scars.
Welcome back to the Reading Room Ruffians, your favorite library podcast. My spicy chicken nugget BFF Ariel is leading us through a discussion of her nonfiction pick, The Orchid Thief by Susan Orlean.
And I'ma be spicy.
Our Supreme Overlord Carla has not read the book?
Not even picked it up. Sorry.
And I am Googling how to start an orchid farm. Just kidding. I don't think I'd survive. We are recording here at our library in Jackson County, West Virginia. Zach is MIA, so we're doing it without him. Whoop, whoop. Coming up in our libraries, we have a Teen Tuesday. That'll be a Denim Crafts in Ravenswood, and that'll be August 20th at 5:30 p.m. Ravenswood is starting a new Mommy and Me program, and that'll start on August 23rd at 12 p.m. And that is for new moms with babies up to like a year old. And they're going to have all sorts of like great resources coming in, informational activities. I know that Amy has booked baby yoga. That sounds so fun. So there's going to be all kinds of stuff, and that'll be, I think, every Friday at noon. Mm-hmm. I think that's a Friday. Anyway. There's also going to be soap making in Ravenswood on August 27th at 5:30 p.m. So all of that is for Ravenswood. But I will have my own kids club on the 20th. I just don't know what it is yet. So, yeah. All right, we can get started. Ariel?
Okay. So my nonfiction pick was The Orchid Thief by Susan Orlean or Orlean. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. And I thought this book was going to be about a man who steals orchids. Mm-hmm. Makes sense, right? Like that's the vibe you get? Yeah. Well, no. Okay, like this book was all over the place, and it was more about orchids in general than the guy who stole the orchids. Yeah. So it was kind of disappointing.
So it was more like a botany text?
Yeah. I was just not thrilled with it.
Yeah.
Now, the main guy, the thief, his name is John LaRoche, and he's an odd one.
Yeah.
They explain him in a lot of weird ways too in this book that make no sense to me. And I feel like I need to include that in this just because I was like, what?
Yeah.
Okay. So like, first off, he gets obsessive over things. And the first thing he started obsessing on was turtles when he was a child. His parents said he could get a pet. He decided on turtles. So then he started obsessing on turtles, needed to know everything about turtles, wanted to own every type of turtle there is out there, including Galapagos turtles. Like he was obsessed.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's done with turtles. Never wants to deal with a turtle again in his life. I don't know what happened. Maybe the turtle bit him. I have no clue. But he's done.
Yeah.
And then he moves on to Ice Age fossils. Starts collecting them, selling them, says he lives for them, which is like every obsession that he ends up getting.
That would be me.
Yeah. Every obsession he ends up getting, that's what he does. Then he goes to lapidary and then...
Oh, see, I should have read this.
Then collecting and resilvering old mirrors. And then car bombs. And finally he gets to orchids. Yeah, it's like...
What was he doing with the car bombs?
It doesn't say. He just says his passions arrived unannounced and ended, explosively and stuff like that. And just...
Wow.
I think he just was interested. It was just like one of those things that just caught his attention.
It kind of feels like, if we're being real honest, like an ADHD hyperfixation.
It really, truly is.
And then just drop it because I've done.
Because once he's done, he's done. Mm-hmm. So... And then this is how they describe him. This is the very first paragraph in this book. John LaRoche is a tall guy, skinny as a stick, pale-eyed, slouch-shouldered, and sharply handsome in spite of the fact he's missing all his front teeth. He has the posture of an al dente spaghetti and the nervous intensity of someone who plays a lot of video games. At one point, they say that he's so skinny that it looks like he turns in on himself.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But he's handsome.
Yeah.
And they talk about how he's handsome
Maybe in
later on.
a vampire type of way.
maybe.
Or something.
It has to be.
No
because...
idea. Like,
And he's harmless. He doesn't have fangs.
Yeah.
the weirdest. He lost all his teeth in a car wreck.
Probably a car bomb.
Nah, it was a car wreck. I
It
think
was
it
a
was a
car
car
wreck.
wreck that killed his mother.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then his wife ended up leaving him after that, too. Crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, so he gets obsessed with orchids, like, needs to know everything, needs to own them all, sells them. And he has this, like, moral compass, like, you think that he's doing something really wrong, but he's doing it for the good of the people. Like, very Robin Hood-esque.
In a way. In a way. Like, it's very... Robin Hood-esque is a good way to put it.
Yeah.
But it's like, he's almost like an evil villain, but actually he's like trying to make sure that something good comes out of it.
Yeah. So,
It's
like,
really weird.
with the orchids, he was working on what are they called?
Seminole.
No, not the tribe. What's
Oh.
the place? The reservation.
Oh, yes. Okay.
I could not think of that word. He was working on a reservation, and the Seminoles, they had two nicknames for him, Crazy White Man, and I can't remember the other one, but essentially the same kind of deal. They did not like him, but he was trying to do stuff for them. So he took them out to this place in Florida where only they are supposed to go. And the laws in Florida state that Native Americans can take whatever they want from their land, and even if the laws say that you're not supposed to. So he took them out, showed them where the orchids were, had them collect the orchids, and he never touched one. So he was like trying to work around the law.
This is that moral ambiguity, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then he wanted to take those back and breed them and sell them, so then poachers could not come and poach them anymore.
Mm-hmm. So it's essentially like, so it's
Like,
a
he
ghost
wanted to-
orchid.
He was doing it for the good of the orchids.
Yeah. So he was
Yeah.
going to do it for the good of the orchids and also the tribe.
And make
Because
crap tons of money.
he convinced the chief to start like an orchid lab, essentially.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And he was really good at cloning. And so he wanted to clone ghost orchids. So then, yeah, the black market would essentially be null and void of ghost orchids
Yeah,
because
and-
they
Well, I mean,
could
that
sell
makes
them
it
for
in a weird sense.
Yeah.
That does make some kind of sense.
Yeah, it
But
does.
that's how he worked with most of his stuff. Like any of his obsessions, that's how he worked.
I think it was a workaround for him, though.
It was for
yeah.
sure. Yeah. He took a lot of time looking into the laws
Oh, yeah.
around Native Americans and like what they can and cannot do.
Yeah, that's why he was very, very careful not to touch any of the orchids they were
Mhm.
taking.
And I'll tell you, they probably would have like gotten away with the whole thing had he not insisted that they take the limbs that the orchids were growing on too. Like the trees came from a national forest and
Yeah.
not just a state park.
Oh,
So he
So,
took
Yeah.
like the limbs that the orchids were growing on.
yeah. He said they had a better
But they
shot of
didn't-
surviving.
He didn't really get in that much trouble.
No,
They didn't get in trouble.
no.
Like nothing really came of this court case.
He was essentially just banned.
Yeah. And then after this, the Native Americans were like, we're done with you. Right?
well, yeah.
So he lost his job. And that's what like triggers this, like that and the fact that a storm came through and wiped out his greenhouses triggered his, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done with orchids.
Yeah.
Right? And the
So he did all this and then just quit.
Yes.
What happened to the orchids?
He
I
left
don't
them there,
know.
I think.
Yeah, oh, you know what? Actually, they did say at the orchids at the tribe that they
Yeah.
collected. They were collected
Oh, yeah.
as evidence, so most of them died. Yeah,
Oh, lovely.
yeah,
Yeah, because he was mad about that.
yeah.
But like the story does not follow him.
It follows the orchids.
It follows
Kinda,
the
yeah.
narrator,
Oh.
who is the reporter,
Oh.
and her like dive into this orchid world.
hmm
And she goes to like different plant shows, and she desperately wants to see a ghost orchid. And he's like, I'll take you out and see it. And then he doesn't. And he'll be like, I'm going to this. You want to come with me?
Yeah.
And and just like out of the blue. And she's like, yeah. And then he's like, I'm not going to that. You can go. And she meets like these other people. And like, it seems like everybody who is in the orchid world is obsessed.
And also insane. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it.
And then like they talk about like how some people steal other people's orchids in it. It's just...
Oh,
it's like...
Could you just like grow you one? I mean, it's
well,
like...
it's because it takes 7 years to produce flowers.
Oh.
Yeah.
So like you can get a seed of like some specific mutation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you grow it. And until those 7 years are passed, you have sole, like custody rights, whatever.
Basically, corner the market.
Yeah, on this orchid.
Yeah,
until it starts producing. So, like, people are like trying to steal like these rare mutations.
Yeah,
so they can.
And then after it starts producing, you can sell it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it's not as popular, but there's like, but you get the seeds after the 7 years. You sell the seeds. So then, like, you know, you still have that 7 years before other people's stuff starts producing.
And they say that it's okay. So I can most easily equate it to like apple trees. Like you never really know what apple tree you're going to get or what kind of apple from an apple seed.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that. Like unless you clone,
so they don't even know.
Yeah. Unless you clone a flower, you don't know what you're getting.
So you're buying a seed with the hopes that it'll have this cool mutation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or maybe a better one, you know.
Yep.
So, but you may not get it.
Yep.
Wow.
And these people spend thousands, if not more, on single flowers.
Yes. Yes, it's outrageous.
Yeah. Like there were greenhouses that were worth upwards of millions of dollars.
We're in the wrong business.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think I would survive it, but it would be
my
really
orchid's
interesting.
growing.
Right.
It's like,
Okay,
although it did something weird. Instead of getting it like on those stems when they die back, I have 2 new sets of leaves. I don't know what that is. I don't know whether it's a new plant. I don't know what it is.
Ooh.
So
okay, so you know how I said that he was very weird and he like fixated on things. Well, he fixated on orchids for 12 years, and he's only 36.
oh my God.
All right.
Well, I figured the car bomb thing didn't last long.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And then, like, I found this paragraph, and this perfectly describes how he talks the entire book, right? So the judge squinted at him and told him to state his name and address and to describe his expertise with plants. And it says, LaRoche jiggled his foot and shrugged. Well, Your Honor, he said, I'm a horticulture consultant. I've been a professional horticulturalist for approximately 12 years, and I've owned a plant nursery with a number of plants of great commercial and ethnobiological value. I have very extensive experience with orchids and with the asexual micropropagation of orchids under aseptic cultures. He paused for a moment and grinned, and then glanced around the room and added, frankly, Your Honor, I'm probably the smartest person I know.
Okay.
Yep.
So that is like, that perfectly sums up what he is like through this entire book.
Yeah. It's very weird. He's captivating, but you're also like, why am I still listening to you?
Jerk.
Yeah, it's and that's like a lot of times.
And even the narrator says that.
Yeah, she was like, I don't understand the magnetic pull to this guy, but everybody was like that with him.
Yeah.
It's like you don't like him, but you can't leave.
Yeah.
Was she like that too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
she
gosh.
wasn't like
Not
she
as
didn't
bad as
act
the
like
other
that really,
orchid
but
people.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like when he would go to plant shows, everybody talked to him.
Mm-hmm. But most of them didn't like him.
Yeah.
But it's because he was
He
so
knew
great at
so
what he
much. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like he was so, because like when he found something, he had to know everything.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
Yeah, and then like at some point in the book, he decides he wants to go get some plants back that he gave to somebody. So he just goes to the person's greenhouse and is like, I'm here for these plants.
Yep.
And they're like, you can't have them back. So like.
He was like, I really miss him.
Yeah.
Sorry. I guess you shouldn't have given him away, huh?
Like, and then I can't remember what his new fixation was going to be. But I remember at the end of the book, he's like, I think I might start on this.
Yeah, I don't
He's kinda
remember what it
scary.
was.
Because he kind of has like a cool down period.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Afterwards.
Or it just doesn't really do anything.
Because they got asked him, they're like, do you have any plants or anything like that? He's like, no, I don't want to get involved in anything. Because you know how I am. As soon as I get involved, I have to sell and, you know, all this other stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think
know.
I've ever been that into something. I don't think so.
Like, I know I hyperfixate on things, but I don't
This is,
think
like,
that
next
I've ever,
level.
yeah, this is like all consuming.
Yeah.
And that is like, he has to be some sort of spicy, like neurospicy, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know what.
A mix of something,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know. But he is.
And he doesn't really stop
intense.
either. He is just go, 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 intense. And it's wild.
Yeah. But like I said, the book doesn't follow him. It doesn't follow the case. It just follows these orchids. And like at one point, she wants to go find a ghost orchid, and he finally agrees to take her out to find one of these, and they get lost.
Oh, that'd be horrifying.
And she never ends up seeing one either.
Then they find where one should be, but it's not blooming.
Yeah.
So she's just like, I guess I just don't want to see one now, because it'll always be like something I want to do.
Yeah.
Because what if I see it and I hate it?
Yeah, because she saw a few like plant shows, but they weren't blooming either.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, now I'm really wanting to look a picture up on the internet. Like, what does a ghost orchid look like?
Actually, I don't think I
don't
think
know
I
that
ever
I've
did that
seen
either.
one.
I can't believe I meant to do that. Ooh. Oh, wow.
I mean, they're just white.
Yeah,
I
but
figured
they
that.
look real funky. It looks like a bug dancing.
It does kind of look like a bug.
Oh, wow.
I'm not impressed.
Well, it's very unusual.
Yeah.
I'm not an orchid person.
I like them. I wouldn't want to grow one. My mom has 2 at home. They're like little ones. And yeah, they're...
You guys are going to have to see that one in my office. I don't know what... it looks like little plants.
Yeah.
And I didn't know they did that.
All right. It says that the orchid is the most famous flower in Florida, but its population has declined by more than 90% globally and by up to 50% in Florida.
Yeah, it said in the beginning that they only grow there naturally.
Yeah, that's the only place
That's
natural.
the only place you can get them naturally.
Wow.
It's that state...
Well, there's like other flowers.
Federal
I mean, there's
National
little
Park.
orchids everywhere because there's...
Yeah.
Or maybe just orchid type flowers.
I want to say that it wasn't even just ghost orchids that you couldn't take out of there either, but like picking any wild orchids.
Yeah, you weren't allowed to pick any of them.
Yeah. And they went for the ones that were like the most.
Well, why did he need so many if he could clone them?
I think
I
he
mean, you
just
would just,
wanted
like,
to
one
make
or
It's
sure.
because it's hard to do it, and if something like because they're so picky about temperature and climate and water.
Oh my gosh, the one I have is probably like it must be a really strong one.
See,
Because it doesn't get the special care.
Yeah, that's what they said, that a lot of orchids have evolved to basically survive anywhere, but it's just the time that it takes for them to do it is what is.
Yeah, because it takes so long for them to
Yeah.
do everything. But also like taking something out of the wild and disrupting its.
It messes. Yeah,
Which is
Yeah.
why he told them to cut the limbs off that they were
'cause
growing
he
on.
didn't want them to
He
mess
like
with the
the
roots
less
and stuff.
disturbed they were, the better. Yeah. I still can't believe that they let those flowers die.
Yeah.
that was like stupid. At least water them. Usually, that's all you have to do is water
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, whenever I
if
read
they're
that, I was like,
that-
oh my God. So they go into like...
It's like Walmart.
Yeah.
They don't water their stuff.
No. Oh my gosh, you have to rescue plants from there.
I think that's probably their marketing
Yeah.
technique. They're like, we're going to get these plant ladies
Yeah. Yeah.
because we're going to be like, oh, look at our plants. They're so pitiful. And these plant ladies are going to be like, I have to take
I
you
must
home.
rescue you. Yeah.
I've done that.
Me too.
It's like, this one looks strong enough to make it. I'll try to save it.
Yeah. But so at one point she meets all these new orchid people and going to all these shows that John didn't want to go to. And she meets this one guy, I don't remember his name, but he was like really nice and just kind of like, I don't know, I would equate him to like a really cool grandpa, you know?
Uh-huh.
Like he
Is
just
this
was
the really rich one?
I think so.
Yeah.
And maybe they had gone to visit somebody else, I think. This woman was telling her about how, so he took her to see this woman who had a greenhouse and all kinds of stuff. And she was talking about how someone had come to see one of her orchids. They were growing on trees and it had gotten a seed pod, and he had called and said he was interested. So came to see about like buying one. And she was like, oh yeah, like it's not ready yet, but as soon as it is, I'll give you a call and whatever. And I think it was like 2 nights later, both seed pods, one was stolen and the other was destroyed.
Yep.
And
that is
seed-
so wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
you know he did it.
Yeah.
And that started more though, because then death threats started coming
yes. Yeah.
To her?
They've just anybody in this
Yeah.
orchid, like they're like their own little
Crazy.
mafia.
They're crazy.
It's insane.
I mean, I thought the poultry and the horse people were nuts.
Yeah.
but
like
this
like
is
you
next-
would go to
next
these
level.
orchid shows, these like really popular orchid growers would go there and they would bring bodyguards.
Yeah. Yeah. So this woman, she's talking about how like she never
that
heard.
blows my mind. I'm sorry.
She had to call that guy, right? And she was like, "Oh, well, somebody stole and destroyed the other one." And he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry about that." And he was like, "If you ever get another one, just let me know." And she's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
"Okay." But she said that I think it was like just
He disappeared for a while too.
yeah, like she never really saw him again. Well, she did, but it was like years later. But he looked completely different.
Yeah, and she assumed that meant that he wasn't able to get the seed pod to grow.
Yeah. But after that, like I think she said it was like what, like 8 years later or something like that. She got a Christmas card from him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was like, that would have been the time that like he wouldn't have been able to get the seed pod to grow. So he just wanted to make sure that he still was in with me.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It's because he came and took it too soon.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't ready.
Mm-mm. Yep. I mean, she told him. I mean, she said at one point she thinks it was just because at first she wasn't really sure she wanted to sell one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then like she got to thinking and called him back and was like, okay, like, you know, they're not ready yet. They'll be ready in about a week. Like, I'll give you a call. You can come out and we can pick one for you.
And he wouldn't wait.
No.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
Probably because he
wild.
didn't want to pay for it either.
Yeah.
Oh, was
Would
he
be
like
my
a
guess
cheapskate
also.
too?
Well, who knows? Yeah. I think he was just a random guy. I don't think she actually knew him. I don't think that she
No.
met him at an orchid place or anything like that. I think.
See, that's
how
the
did
thing.
she even? I don't remember. But
I don't understand. Even if you have a business, I would be hesitant to say like, okay, come to
Mhm.
come here. I would
Yep.
Yeah.
have a storefront or something or someplace offsite. It's like when we had pugs we sold every now and then. People were like, can I come and see him? And I'm like, well, I can meet you somewhere because
Yeah.
I didn't want a strange person
No.
showing up at my house.
Mm-mm. Yeah, whenever she said that's what she did was invited him to her house to see them, I was like, oh no.
don't do that, don't do
I
that.
already know.
Yeah.
Because these orchid
Yep.
people are wild.
They're insane.
Well, I mean, yeah. But anyway, anytime you invite someone into your home, it's
Yeah.
like, especially if you have something that they want
Yep.
and there's more than one of them.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like this book was kind of like not what I expected to be, I
No.
guess. And it was kind of a bummer.
Like it still was interesting because I didn't know that it was this was a whole entire basically secret society, but it's not secret.
Yeah, I didn't know that this was a thing.
And like apparently Florida is like the orchid people hub of
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah.
Like
It's like a very niche place.
Yeah.
It really truly is. And it kind of made me want to go to one of these orchid shows
Well, yeah.
just to see
yeah.
and like see how many crazy people
'Cause-
we can
And
you know,
like
pick
and
out?
people like breed these orchids and so all of them look so different. And like I'd love to see all the different variations, but like also it's like I don't get the draw of having to be that freaking patient. Like
No.
I can be patient, but my goodness, for a flower, no
No.
way.
Wisteria's like that.
Yeah.
If you take a cutting from like a root cutting,
Yeah.
you can get flowers, I think, in maybe 5 years.
Huh.
But if you plant a seed, it's 7 to 10.
That's outrageous. I
Oh.
love
But
wisteria,
then it takes over the world.
Yeah.
So just a warning out there for everybody.
Yeah.
It will take over
I do
the
love
It
world.
is really
wisteria.
pretty. Yeah.
but I don't want to wait that long.
No. No way.
It's like fruit trees. They take forever to produce.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm glad that there's people in the world that have patience. Granted, I don't like fruit, so I guess I'm fine. I'm a veggie girl.
I love fruit.
I like fruits and veggies.
We had a lot of raspberries this year. The kids loved them.
Yeah, I like
Mm.
raspberries, but I don't like most fruit.
I like more tart fruits. I will say, though, the only exception to that are like plums and pears. Those are two of my favorites, but they're like really soft fruits.
I really
like
have
they,
to be in the mood for those.
they don't have
Well,
like,
I'm almost never in the mood for a plum, but I
Yeah.
have to be in the mood for an Asian pear.
Oh, God, I love Asian pears.
Like, that's
Hopefully-
very
Yeah.
specific.
Yeah, I'll get some pears this year, hopefully. Although we do have a deer hanging out, living in the general area of that pear tree.
Oh.
Yeah. We can see her every now and then.
My granddad's crabapple tree. The deer loved his crabapple tree. They would like get up in it and like eat them off, or they would shake the tree. I've never seen a deer do that before, and it was wild. I was like, this is kind of like Jurassic Park whenever you see the long neck do that. I was like, oh, so that's what that looked like.
I have a bunch of deer in my yard now. They're leaving my peach tree alone.
We had a deer one year come in to eat the pears.
Yeah.
But she would take one, maybe two, but usually it was one bite off of each one. So it's like you can't even, I mean, she wouldn't even eat a whole pear. She would just take a bite, that's pretty good, and go to the next one, that's easy to get to. It's like, I was so mad because it's like, I wouldn't have cared to share it a little bit.
Yeah.
But she would took, so who wants to eat after a deer?
Like,
Nobody.
It's like a toddler.
Yeah, one bite. I was like, oh.
This is mine.
Because that's what it's like having fruit and a
it's like
toddler
going around
and
licking
at the same
everything.
time.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. I mean, you could go out there and they'd be on the ground and it's like one bite, you know. Oh, that one has two. That one, you know. And the ones on the lower limbs, one bite.
That's wild.
Crazy deer.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny. I don't know. I mean, like, we don't really have a whole lot else to talk about.
This book is just, it was kind of a dud.
It was a fairly short book. Like,
it was a short book.
I'd say so this was in that section of Libby that said reads like fiction. And I would say it reads like fiction because I don't know how John LaRoche is a real person.
Yeah, don't know that. That makes zero sense.
And I also don't know how the orchid world is that insanely insane.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's so fictional about
it. It makes
like,
you want to go to a show that.
Yeah. Like, I want to be in on it. Like, I want to be in on it from the outside. Like, I don't want to,
Yeah. Kind of like she was.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then, like, also, it's like, how am I letting myself get sucked into this? It has been insane to listen to. Surrounding myself with those types of people for even like probably a day, I'd be like, I never want to do another one again. But just to be able to see it all just one time,
yeah,
I don't know.
Also, I'm going to see if I can find John LaRoche. See if I can find a picture of him.
Oh yeah,
I didn't even think about that.
We'll have to put a picture up of on the podcast about the orchid in my office. Maybe somebody out there will be like, "Oh, I know what that is."
Oh yeah, John LaRoche, horticulturist. Whoa, now what?
Okay, let me see.
He looks like he would murder people.
Yeah, he's for sure a murderer.
There's no way he's not.
He looks like Jack Nicholson in The Shining, except a lot taller
and skinnier.
Ew,
like, way skinny.
Look at his color photos.
Yeah.
Is he human? He has that kind of like otherworldly look about him.
He really does.
He looks like almost like that really tall alien from Men in Black.
No, whoa.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about. He goes to have dinner with the guy who has the cat.
Yeah.
That guy.
Now, wait a minute. This says, hold on, there was a guy here that played John LaRoche in a film. What?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well, now I want to...
Okay, here's the author and John. And look at the face he's making in that photo.
Adaptation? I think they did a movie about him.
I think he's an alien.
He's wild, isn't he?
Yes. I mean, if you put that robe on him like that guy in that movie,
I know.
Yeah. Well, I think he played that guy.
He's creepy.
What?
I don't understand.
Okay, wait. Okay, what?
Like this one, he doesn't look so creepy. He does look like a murderer.
He looks like Jack Nicholson
for sure,
in that one. I think a really thin, tall.
But like the eyebrow raised and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I agree with their description? No. I do not find this man handsome.
Maybe it's just there's like a magnetic something about him because
that's what makes him attractive. It's like
it's
handsome or something.
The unusualness about him to
So weird.
Okay, so there's a movie called Adaptation, and it's a comedy and a drama, and it says a lovelorn screenwriter becomes desperate as he tries and fails to adapt The Orchid Thief by Susan Orlean for the screen. So they made like a movie about somebody trying to make a movie out of a book.
Because the book was about somebody trying to steal
And look, I mean, they have like They have pictures of like an actor in the movie touching the orchids. So
Is it this one?
Well, it was, yes, but like, that was the guy, I think, but it wasn't the same picture. But yeah, they have him like walking through.
Yeah, because they have Meryl Streep playing Susan.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow. Now, why can't they make movies of the books we wanted to make movies of? Why would they make this one?
But see, like this is something else. Like
I probably watched that movie.
For the orchids, they had to walk through water like this.
And they had to hold the limbs up
my gosh.
so that they didn't get waterlogged or
the
anything.
Snakes and the alligators. Have you seen that video of the woman from Louisiana? She's like, let me show you how to tell if there's alligators in this water.
Yeah.
She's like, you get down to the water and you pick it up and you kind of run it to your fingers. And if that water is wet, there's alligators in that water.
She ain't wrong.
No, she's not. That's funny.
Have you seen them where they'll walk up and they'll just toss something like a small rock or something in there, and then like 7 alligators go for it?
Yeah.
Terrifying.
But yeah, they talk about how he went out with, or she went out with someone.
I don't know if I'd walk through that to see a unicorn.
Or maybe if it was with John. But they went out, and they had 2 other people who were coming with them, and both of them were super like terrified of having snakes.
Yes. It was with the rich dude.
Okay, it was with the rich dude.
I think.
And they were like home parole or something like that. Like,
she went with a ranger. That's right. He set her up with a ranger because he couldn't take her out. But it was one of the park rangers.
Yeah.
And they were on a work release.
Yeah.
Program.
And they had like machetes or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they were so skittish.
She said that they were like big babies.
Like one would think that they saw a snake and they would start swatting, so the other one started swatting.
What would you have to see to go through something like
I don't know.
More than a freaking flower.
I don't think I would go for a unicorn.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that to be some kind, maybe
it
a dragon.
Would have to be,
I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess
don't
go,
know.
no, I'm done.
Don't they have anacondas down there too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where people have let them out.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's like rattlesnakes and all sorts of other stuff too.
And
yeah.
Anacondas and
coral snakes.
Don't even talk about the spiders. I'm sure.
And the mosquitoes.
Oh man, the mosquitoes! I'm already out at mosquitoes. Like I don't even have to worry about anything else. I get eaten alive.
I feel like they'd be so big they could carry you off too.
Oh, probably.
That's only Alaska.
But yeah, it's wild that people go through this crap to go see a flower.
A flower.
Oh my goodness!
And maybe it's going to be blooming.
Yeah, because the ghost orchid blooms for a couple weeks out of the year, only sometimes.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not guaranteed to bloom every year.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
There's no way.
And they don't all bloom at the same time. I mean, obviously most flowers don't, but like.
But it's just like how wisteria only has a few short weeks.
Yeah.
That it's blooming. That's what they're like.
Wow.
They're here for a good time, not a long time.
Have a good time, you mean hanging out on a tree with alligators everywhere?
I mean, alligators don't touch the flowers. That would be okay, I think.
But the snakes and the spiders do.
Yeah. We won't talk about them.
And then you got to watch out for creepy alien men coming and stealing you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Ooh.
He does kind of look like that guy.
But he didn't touch them.
No, he didn't.
Oh my God.
But yeah, like, I don't know.
Oh, okay. And then, so before we stop talking, he set up in this lab and greenhouse for the tribe, right? He went for all of the most exotic and like, not really expensive, but like, hard to find plants.
Yeah, he didn't want any of like normal things to sell.
And so like they had just like this surplus of stuff that not really a whole lot of people really want. Like you've got like maybe 6 or 7 growers in the nation that probably want that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he stocked the whole thing with that. So whenever they fired John after the whole ordeal, they hired somebody else. And wasn't this the guy? That was the guy that she ends up hanging out with.
Yeah.
That he's like a rich little old man. And he was like, we got rid of a lot of that. And like, ethically, of course, like they sold it off. But essentially he was like, he's like, I kept some of the exotic stuff, but I got in a bunch of other stuff that people are going to want to come here for. And like, I think they had, 3 or 4 different selling locations.
Yeah.
So he had some of them do specific things and some of them did like more general things.
Yeah.
And it worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that John didn't have a stash somewhere in a climate-controlled basement. I mean, that would...
Yeah, well, that's why he wanted the lab.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, if you...
I was going to say, he had his own greenhouses. Like his own.
Why didn't he have that stuff there? He stashed somewhere.
Well, the greenhouses got destroyed by a storm.
Yeah. Oh, his greenhouses did?
Yeah, he came.
See, he wasn't thinking far enough in advance. He should have. It should have been like a secure bunker or somewhere.
Yeah.
With a secret door. Yeah. I mean, this is the kind of guy the mentality that.
Yeah, but then he was done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
And the thing is, he was done with the Native Americans too.
Yeah.
He refused to even go back on the reservation.
Never went back on the reservation.
He's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. He's an alien.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean the extraterrestrial kind, not the illegal kind.
I mean, he's wild.
Yeah.
Such an intense person. I think he would get on my last nerve.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I still want to go to an orchid show, though, just to see.
I would love to see the crazy people. I'm such a people watcher, so to see all these crazies out there, I'd love that.
Especially the ones with the bodyguards. You just walk up to them real fast once. Oh, sorry. Oops.
Love that. Oopsie.
Scared you. Okay, well.
Walk up to him real fast, pulling something out of your bag, and it ends up being like chapstick or something.
It doesn't matter. You're still dead.
Yeah. Only if they brought guns.
Oh, my gosh.
Maybe it's what happened to his teeth.
Yeah. That's what really happened. Do we have any other final thoughts?
No.
Okay. Well, our next episode, we will do a deep dive, my deep dive, and I picked The Initial Insult by Mindy McGinnis. That's a quick read, and it's very, it's kind of a wild ride, and so just buckle up. It's very fun. And then we're going to have an interview with children's author Sophia Brown, and we're pretty excited about that one. She reached out to us, and she offered us, like, titles of her 3 books.
They're like 3 in 1. Or maybe I got all 3 books.
Yeah.
Or what was available.
And she got into writing for her grandchildren. I love that. I love that kind of story. Okay. And then we will be, let me see, Ariel and I will be having a curiosity. We'll figure it out later.
I feel like we talked about what we wanted to do, but I can't remember what it was.
Nope. And then is Carla's deep dive pick.
Yay!
What did you say it was?
It's going to be The Descent of Woman.
The Descent of Woman. Okay, and that's a nonfiction pick. We do 2 nonfictions next month.
It's good. This one reads. It's fun. I mean, it makes.
Why y'all want me to read about real life?
I love this book. I read it probably 20 years ago, and it never left my mind.
Yeah.
You know, I wonder though, because you thought Communion was one thing, and it was a movie that you were getting mixed up with. So I wonder how much of this book is legit.
All of it is legit. There was an old woman on stage I saw at a TED Talk, and she was talking about this. This has been more recently, and she was like 83, okay? And she's like, this theory or this hypothesis it's really a hypothesis, makes sense, but people are going to have to get on board. I'd like to see more done with it, and I'm 83, so I don't have much time left, so hurry up, people.
Like, I love the concept of what this book is supposed to be about, and I feel like I might enjoy it, depending on how it's wrote.
It's written in plain English. There's not a lot of like deep,
not fancy,
fancy words and stuff like that. It's like it's very well written. It flows well, but it's also easy to understand.
All right,
so maybe.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed today's episode. It's time for us to sign off, but before we go, only the best libraries have librarians who don't shush you.
We don't grow orchids either.
Nope.
I do.
No, don't come for her.
This was a Walmart special. I think I'm probably pretty safe.